Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today is a special episode as we say thank you to John Singleton and goodbye to his visionary show, Snowfall, with season 6, episode 10, a great season finale to a great series. Right there. Okay. And for some reason, I want to hear myself. Let's not do all that. But anyway, what did we think of the show? What did it mean to us? What does it mean to the future? We don't know. Spinoffs. Let's see. Let's talk about all that. But Stacey's back. We appreciate that. Stacey, what did you think of Franklin's demise?
I needed him to go full Pookie. They missed out on a great opportunity to have him smoking a crack pipe. I needed to see this.
Why was it so critical to your soul and to your journey?
He created crack, or well, he didn't create it, but he was the main distributor of crack.
Yes.
The biggest goddamn crack dealer in North America. Mm. So it's only right that he becomes a crackhead. I mean, look what they did to Lamar.
Oh, let's not cite that as a good example.
I know, but
I see where you're going with that. He became his daddy. And sadly so. I saw that. It was painful. But overall, I mean, besides that, I mean, just in general, what do you think of the finale? Is it what you expected?
It's a good ending. I'm glad Lee and Wanda made it back, left. I'm glad he listened to Sissy and go away. Like, I kind of needed that. I don't know why Franklin didn't make anything of himself. Like, he was smart at some point, you know. He had ambition, he had drive. He could have sold encyclopedias or something. Like, anything. All you have to do is pay the taxes. You didn't have a mortgage.
I don't know. That was a huge a gap of like, how did he get to this point? That somehow only thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that flash for a year to 2 years. Like, that kind of irritated me. Like, you could have gave us something else, maybe.
Dialogue. Everything happened in dialogue. They're like, we got to speed this shit up.
Right, and then Louis just hiding in the horse stables. Like, that's how we get.
Who's stables? What state? What
random couple?
Like, I wrote them down because I was like, I Linda and Emmett's, whoever the fuck they are. I don't know. So I was like,
that was weird.
Yeah. But none of them died. So that's awesome.
It leaves it open for a spinoff, but due to what Power has been doing with their spinoffs, I'm not sure that that's what I want from this show. Like, I mean, there are better writers on Snowfall. I give them that.
Yes.
But I don't know if I want to see, like, Wanda, Lee, and Louie continuing whatever the heck they're going to be doing. I don't know if I need to see that.
That's fair.
Unless they go to Franklin's funeral on the first episode or something. I don't know what they would do with this.
Let's explore that a little bit. Kim, what were your thoughts?
Wasn't finished.
All right, what else, Stacey?
So we all knew that V was gonna run off with the money. We just didn't necessarily see the circumstances, right? But I'm glad she left, because he was gonna kill her ass. And then why didn't he take the money for the property? I didn't understand it either. But go ahead, Kim.
Okay. Well, and please let me know again. Anyway, I think I did enjoy it. The ending, I cried a lot. And I love the way it was a full circle, that he became his dad, which is the one thing that he despised since he was a child, the way that his father was an alcoholic. And now, and didn't try to become anything other than alcoholic. And he just followed in the same path. Once life kind of, in Franklin's mind, has crushed him. So there's nothing else but for him to drink. And, you know, and when he said at the end that he was free, I was like, wow. Like, I don't see how you think you're free. Like, you're gonna be walking around the street, and I understand that it comes from the first episode when Mel asked him, his future, and he said to be free from all of this. So I get that's full circle also, but he's not free. He's addicted.
He has
Addicted now.
He was work. She asked him, why were you working? Like, why are you working so much? What are you working for? And I think his idea is like, I have nothing to work for anymore, so I'm free. His whole thing was like, I needed the money. He was but now everything is taken away from him. So
he wanted to save the hood, like be like real estate mogul and affordable houses. Remember, he was all on that thing for a while.
But it was all in search for a goal. But it's like, if all his goals are taken away from him, then he's free.
They weren't taken away from him.
They were.
He could have sold the Spring Street property, kept the hood properties, rented those out, had paid his taxes, lived in his house, and just been chilling.
So I think what they tried to say, but they didn't make it very clear, was that he lost it. Because I thought
he did mentally lose it.
No, he lost that property. Like, he actually lost it. Like,
yeah, he lost everything. Yeah.
So
because he didn't take the deal though.
True, but I'm saying, but at that point he couldn't. Like, the bank took it from him. So I thought the same thing.
No,
like,
when dude came to the house and was like, "I'll buy your interest," he could have been like, "Bet." Took that money.
No. See, you get like the sequence of order is off. All right, so Stephen Williams, 21 Jump Street fame or the Shy, right? He comes to the house. He says,
"Family business.
I can
Alexander Cora.
I can take, V said, I can take your stake in the Spring Street, right? He says, no, because I don't even know anything about that, right? He goes to V and says, I found out about that. Now I've gone and I've taken the South Central properties, liquidated them back to my mother's old boss, and used that to put into the fund for Spring Street to fund it even more, knowing that
he shouldn't have done it.
It's gonna go down the drain because he doesn't have enough money to keep it funded.
And did he sell those properties out of spite for Sissy? Because she didn't like her boss.
He was desperate and he needed the money, and at that point he didn't care about his mom. So it really was, he was trying, his whole, like, Spring Street was like his truth.
Yeah.
Like it was like this is gonna make me something, and he was fighting for it, and he just sacrificed everything for it. But in the end, he lost it. Like, I mean, but he's, to your point, Stacey, I would have liked to have seen the scene that he tried to sell it. That he's tried was like, hey, Davis, like, I'll sell it to you now. And he's like, all right, got it, buddy. Sorry, but he didn't have an opportunity to do that, because when he had the conversation with V, she said, you sunk us now, because there's no way that we can ever get this Spring Street property. There's no way, right? You just sunk us, because that was all the leverage. That was everything that we had. You just put it all into a sinking ship.
Right.
And,
why would she
she took that money? She took that money out of that account, so there was nothing left. He couldn't do anything with it after that.
You know something? Didn't they? And they didn't talk about this, but she had put up a $1.8 million in a Miami account. Remember that?
Yes.
So what happened to that money? She didn't take that money.
She took that shit too.
No,
I guess they didn't say that. They didn't say she took that one.
No, wait. Let me go back. All right, so that was like the second or third episode.
Yeah.
So he needed legit money to continue to spend on the Spring Street property, because it's like a mortgage. He has to continue.
No, but I'm saying, I know what you're saying. I'm saying
he was continuously using that. He just needed it to be an account so he can spend it.
Yeah. It was spent by then. At this point, that's what he's saying.
Oh, okay,
it was gone. So that's
basically,
why
Franklin is just terrible with money. Is that what we're saying here?
Frank. Well, it was a bill. He was just running out of money. Like, I mean, and he didn't have enough money to cover it. But I'm saying, I mean, But he was so chasing it, like he was just so chasing it that it just killed him. And then like
You're betting on the development when you already have prime ready to go property, albeit in the hood, but it's still functional property that you can get rent from. Versus,
that was his club that he was like.
and the whole concrete thing, did he make that up, or
the what?
when he went to the bank for the concrete money?
Oh yeah, he made that
up?
shit up. No, he made that shit up because he thought.
But he was like, send it to this particular company. Was that like a shell company that he had?
Yeah, I'll try a shell company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, but he definitely was making that shit up until he realized. So when she took the money, I was like, hilarious. That's the only prediction I got right. That's the only we all said she was going to rob
You
this dude.
to choke me and think that and not cut me off on the accounts. Like he should have been a little bit smarter, been like, okay, I just choked this chick. Let me take her off the accounts.
But see, that's not his focus. That's the problem. His focus was the money.
Was the money.
Everything else he
He did like ghost and like
Right.
Yeah.
He did. He I think the show did it better, but they did do that. Once said drug dealer started drinking, everything went to shit. Everything went to shit after that, and he couldn't stop. And it was like, and he turned on his woman. I wanted the scene of her meeting her mama again, so she could go. I told you.
Or at least talk to her on the phone. If they're not gonna
she should have got off a plane and her mama should have sitting right there waiting.
Right.
With a suitcase full of money.
I need to see, because at this point her mom meant nothing. At this point. Because V could have stole that 800 grand. She did steal it all on her own and just run away with the kid. The mom had nothing to do with any of that. So in the big her character meant nothing. And I'm like, and that would have been awesome. She also she should have had at least 20 million of Teddy's money, because there were like 4 account numbers on that piece of paper or whatever the fuck. Mom should have found at least one of them, got that money, and that's how they're living pretty outside of the US, never to be seen again. And for Franklin to know that, like that would kill him. Like that would absolutely kill him, but that would have been a better story. And that would have made Mom relevant. And I would have been like, oh shit, like she was right about the whole thing. But definitely on the beach, sipping wine with the son right here, 5 years old, I guess, about this point.
But I think that would have just been, it wouldn't have fit. I think that there was only 2 scenes out of the whole episode that I could think of that Franklin wasn't in. And that was like the last scene where you see Sissy and like she tells Leon to go to Africa, and the scene where you see Wanda for the last time and Leon tells her to go to, he says you should go to Africa.
It would have been on the telephone. Okay. It would have. They should have showed the telephone call. That shouldn't have been dialogue. To your point. He's on the phone with her, a fucking alcoholic in his wife beater, and she's like, "I got 20 million, and I got your son, and you ain't seen none of that ever again." And be like, "Fuck." And then he's like, "Hey, mama wants to say hi." He's like, "Bye, bitch," and just hangs up the phone. And he's like, "God damn." That to your point.
Star 6'9" or better.
Like that would have been the scene. Because that needed to happen. Like he had to know that she was right, that V was right, Mama was right, and V knows Mama was right. And we see the son, and we see like, what does he look like? Does he look like Franklin? Some shit like that would have been
chocolate boy.
Huh?
A little chocolate baby boy.
Oh,
I think at the end of the day, it was they wanted to just show the full circle of Franklin. Like all the extra stuff was not needed. They just wanted to show. And then and they also and I like that they did that whole scene where he was walking around the neighborhood, which is where we first see them as best friends walking around the neighborhood on that same street. And then he saw that Boys in the Hood was being made, and he was like, yeah, that shit's not gonna get out, or something like that. He said
that was good.
But I like it that they showed someone dressed like John Singleton.
John Singleton.
Yeah, I thought that was I cried. I was like, if this man could be here to see this, he'd be so proud that they did a show justice. You know what I mean? Like they really, Walter Mosley, he deserves all the accolades because he brought this show, the end of the show, he put this whole thing together. and not by himself, but I'm just saying he did most of the writing, and he did a great job. I think that he understood the vision that John wanted, and he moved forward. And I thought it was a great ending. It was, and I was happy that it wasn't the typical ending, right? He's either dead, drug dealers are either dead or in jail. So this one showed that he wasn't a crack fiend, but he was a fiend for that money.
Yes.
And then he became a fiend for alcohol. So now that's his whole life. Now it's just to get drunk. That's it. That's all he cares about. And I mean, in his head, he's free. Which if you ever, homeless people say that a lot. They feel free because they don't have to pay bills. They don't have to. They really don't have any type of society coming down, except for people like You're Dirty and stuff like that. But they're free to do whatever the fuck they want to do. And I guess maybe that's, that's his mindset right now, which this dude was so smart. In the very beginning, he could have been anybody. He could have been anything. And to see him turn into this is devastating. And I understood why Sissy, she couldn't say anything. Like, I was so glad that they made her stay silent, because once your child has gone that far, what can you say? You can't say anything. You can't bring them back. And she knew that. But I love the scene with her and Leon. Sissy and Leon's scene was the scene that you wish that she could have had with Franklin. I thought that was beautiful. And I'm glad that she convinced him to go with Wanda to Africa. That was a beautiful scene. So it was so many beautiful scenes. I mean, Leon walking with him and talking with him, and then Franklin saying, "I'm so proud of you." Oh my gosh, it was. All right, I'm about to cry. Go ahead, start.
Well, and then
can I go? Can I go?
Hold up. So then, like that also brought the stories full circle, because you go back to episode 1. Franklin was the standard. Franklin was what Leon should have been. Even his mama said that. Like, he got his head on straight. You want to be like him. Frank, like Leon was the one about to start a fight on the bus because he wanted to turn on the radio, and they're like, "Who the fuck are you? He just got out of juvie." And to see all that transform to where, like, Leon, Sissy is like, "You're the one. Like, this is what I wish. Like, this is the son I wish I had. Like, you're." And like Franklin is the sad like reject. You don't want to be like. That's a story. I mean, and I thought both that was awesome. Giovanni, what you got?
Okay. All right. So
you got a list.
Yeah. All right. So let me start off by saying, let me give the negative first, right? So, as a series, right? I want to say fuck the Parissa storyline. That was a waste of time. Yeah. Like it
agreed.
Nowhere. Yeah. Absolutely no. Like,
and the KGB.
And Ruben also unnecessary. Ruben also unnecessary. They made them unnecessary. That's the problem. Like, they had opportunities. Parissa should have been murdered by the CIA trying to get the money. Like, they should have thought that she had access to the money and when they couldn't get it, they just killed her or somehow. Like, I would have appreciated that.
And I would like to say, fuck the Dion storyline.
Also didn't go anywhere.
I'm like, what was the purpose of that? Like, it was. That was just like filler.
Well, again, missed opportunity. They should have showed that after all that bullshit, Dion is still in charge of the projects, still running drugs, still part of the gang, and the neighborhood was no better off than when it started. Leon accomplished nothing. Like, that should have been the story. To be like,
he started a legal fund. He got a legal fund
to help all the drug dealers get out of jail for dealing drugs.
No, he said the wrongfully accused.
That's not what he said, but that's fine.
Or if Dion was right there with Einstein and which everybody predicted would die, which nothing happened to Leon or Einstein.
Nope.
If he was in there and was like, all right, he's in line now, he has finally seen the light, or he's of the same.
I'm sure Leon turned it over to somebody. We should have saw Leon turning it back over to Dion. Yeah. Like, all right, you got the juice now.
But again, is that really what we wanted? Like, we're trying to fix the
but what did he do? Did he just get on the plane and go to Africa, just leave the operation?
Or Einstein could have.
They never got their connect.
And Einstein has has muscle or something like that to handle stuff for him, but he's like the brains and the money of the operation, kind of like Franklin was.
Yeah,
But they should have been an operation to begin with. Like they didn't learn anything. Like
I'm like,
Jordan
yeah,
cannot
the
be
last
here.
scene you see with him in charge is, hey, we got to get some more coke. You know,
Yeah,
whether it's
yeah.
Mexican or Colombian or your
That's-
cousin.
That's
And
why
I'm
I was like, what the fuck are we doing with Leon? You got $3 million. at
Okay,
your
wait.
disposal.
Okay, so that's one of my points as well, right? 'Cause I did the math on this, right?
How did you do that?
Franklin had 5 million that got taken by Peaches. He
Okay.
had 73 that got taken by Teddy, right?
Okay.
So we're at 78, right?
Okay.
Now, they all started at the same time, right? How does Leon end up with a 24th? That small of a fraction, 24th, and is still living in the projects. And like Franklin has a plane, has like a penthouse apartment and an office and all this other stuff. He has spent money. He's probably spent the 3 million that Leon had on just cars
Yes.
and other stuff or whatever, right?
On playing
And
games.
yeah, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how is this year? And he's like, well, you know, if you give me the 3 million and I'm gonna make you a partner like you should have been the whole time. And I'm like, and he's only made 3 million this whole time? Like how
You know, trips to Africa weren't cheap.
He was living exactly. He was living in Africa for a while. He was actually, I mean, he wasn't management. He was a street dealer. Like Franklin was management. Like Louis was management. So the fact that he even had $3 million is impressive.
I was impressed.
No, but I'm saying he had the whole projects. It was like he had a territory, just like
yes. He had to pay. He had
like,
employees, bro. Like he was buying bricks from his own friends and family plan, and then he was selling to everybody else. Like I mean, he was pretty kind of low on the totem pole. Like he was lower middle management. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that he had 3 million after all that bullshit is actually pretty impressive. But why are you still in the projects? Like it was Wanda who was like, "Why the fuck are we here? Like we don't have to be here. Like we
And remember, they all had houses next door to each other.
Thanks to Franklin. And
those were Franklin's houses, though.
Those are Franklin's houses.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they didn't have to be there. Like Wanda was like, I'm leaving. It's Wanda who convinced him. Because with his wife gone, even then, he was like, I'm still staying. Like Leon was a liability at that point. I was like, I gotta go and save me and myself because you apparently ain't getting the message, bro. Like he's like, I'm committed to this drug life for some reason. Because I'm trying to save these drug dealers from what? Like so
but this one didn't make any sense about Leon. He's trying to save his people, but with the left hand. And with the right hand, you're selling them drugs that are tearing them down.
Yes.
It made no sense.
Okay, all right. So
no sense to
me. Let me explain it using a simile, right? The simile is Tupac, right? Tupac had that same sort of duality. They said he got into the music business like 3 years too late. That's what the guy who's doing guy from Minister Society who's doing the documentary about him said. He's like, yeah, there was all of this like Public Enemy and all of this Black Power stuff that was happening in the late 80s. And he didn't get his record deal until like 91 when it was already in the heat of gangsta rap. So he had to kind of change his personality to try to win people over so that he could then teach that message. So he's like, Leon is trying to basically, all right, I have to be the man in charge in order for you
Leon
to
already had street cred.
Right.
Like, he wasn't like Einstein that kind of had to like build himself up.
Right.
Leon was already about that life.
He started the life.
Grew up in the project.
He started the life. This was his operation.
No, I'm like,
jump.
This is
He
what you
wasn't
guys
in,
don't
like,
understand
private
about.
school.
What you guys don't understand about the streets is that
He wasn't
if
Franklin.
you're saying he had so much street cred, he came back and they said, "Yo, what set you claim, cuz? Nah, this is my block. I grew up here. How do you not know me if I have street cred?"
Exactly.
He doesn't have that much. You're only as good as your last win. So if he's
No,
not
man.
doing something right now, they're not gonna listen to
No,
him.
man.
He got
No,
his
man.
Jerry
No.
curl. They didn't
Yeah.
recognize him with the
Yeah.
little
Right,
African.
he looking like Doughboy. He's looking like Doughboy. In fact, they should have tried to cast him to play Doughboy. Like that's what should have happened. Also, you remember that film dude that I thought was John Singleton, the dude in the project I guy's ass whoop? He should have been on that set somehow. They should have tied it together. It was all made up anyway. So they could have been like, oh, bro, whatever his name. Hey, yo, how's it going? And he's like part of the set and they keep it moving to bring that storyline together. Like that would have been hilarious. Because whatever happened to that dude? Like we never saw that dude again.
But I would say this, that we're
That
going
guy
back
died.
to Franklin is wrong ever since the third season, because he's like, y'all, it ain't like y'all gonna win an Oscar, and the movie did win an Oscar for the screenplay.
Well, that was the joke.
It was a joke. That's
Yeah,
that was-
that's what
I
funny.
know, but I'm just saying that, you know, Franklin just being wrong since the whole man boy thing and everything like that.
It was always
Everything you
No,
said
that was
wrong.
just a joke because I mean they were lightening the mood.
Yeah,
For a second,
yeah.
that was it.
That was it.
And it was all about John Singleton at that moment, and then it was
Yeah.
just making a joke about it,
Yeah.
and that was it. I mean,
I-
I'm sorry, I thought the whole thing was brilliant. I'm not.
It was.
I don't have anything. I don't see anything wrong with it. It could have had other aspects added to it. Of course, it could have, right? But I didn't write it. But I thought it was well written. It's like for me, it's gonna go down as one of the best endings
Yes.
on TV.
Yes.
As one of the best. I'm sorry. I mean, it's better than Sopranos. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Breaking Bad, I would say it's like a second to
Power.
Breaking Bad. So
Better than Power.
yeah, absolutely better than Power. It was. I mean, for me, it was better than Power. I mean, not to say Power was horrible, but I would say this one brought out a lot more emotion.
Yeah.
And the actor, Damson, oh my God, this dude needs to, from this point on, people need to be asking him to be in stuff. I mean, come on, and not be a drug dealer, something else. Let him be something else.
Yeah.
Because he's a very gifted actor.
a shitty boyfriend.
He could be that. He could be that.
I mean, he can choke out a
He
couple.
already was. That was a joke.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just think that he's talented. He's very talented.
Let's get to absolutely right, Kim. Absolutely right, Kim. Again, I'm not trying to say this wasn't a bad. It was a bad inning. I thought it was a good inning. It did not do anything I thought it was going to be, which is great. Like everybody, like I said, it was either die or go to jail, and they did neither one. You know what I'm saying? Like they both had life to go. I like
They
that.
should have went to dead presidents.
Wait,
I don't even remember that.
I think they did with Peaches to the best that they were going to do it. Because I thought, I mean, what they did.
Peaches shot him.
I was so glad they wrapped up Peaches.
what?
Wasn't that irritated me?
It was. I mean, after all this bullshit,
And he was 25 miles away
right. I mean,
for the whole time.
I
What are you
love.
spending the money on? I need receipts.
Yeah, how do you spend that much money in that amount of time? No, bro. Like
It ain't that much crack in the world.
it
I
ain't
mean,
that
a
much.
heroin
No.
addict. He's
No,
a
not
heroin addict.
He would have been dead
No.
if he would have used that much. He would have been dead.
No.
Well, I mean,
Like,
he
this-
bought a
He
house.
turned it into a
partied.
clubhouse, so it was like he's basically
Five.
putting on parties.
$5 million, kiss my ass. You
No.
got to work hard to spend that kind of money. Like I need.
In the 80s? No.
In the 80s, you know, bro.
Wait a minute. Okay, have you heard of Scott? What's his name? Scott Scorch, the
Yes.
producer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He said
He had
you-
Bentleys,
he said-
condos in Miami, planes,
said-
homes, all of that. Yes.
No.
He's
He
had
said
high-end
no.
homes.
Well, no. He did not
cars.
say that. What he said was that he spent $25 million on just drugs. And
He
then
didn't do them himself. He was having parties where he was funding
well,
all
don't
the
you think
drugs.
Peaches was doing that? You don't think
He had
Peaches was
one
doing
dude that showed up to his house, and that was like 3 days later. I'm just.
And that was
but
in the
no.
daytime.
It can happen.
It was in the daytime, and that's after all the money was gone anyway.
It just seems. Anyway, I'm sorry. But again, I'm sorry. I'm just saying there was a lot of characters that it was a great ending. Of the characters that they showed, they did a good job. There was just stories that could have been wrapped up. Buckley should have been dead or something. Like if that was the last time we were going to see
All
him.
right, so wait, let me.
Sure,
all right,
OD
so,
too.
so as far as Buckley goes, right? That was just. I feel as though that was like it was a red herring, and it was more or less like foreshadowing. Like how I said, usually when the character chooses revenge, then they get caught. So like I would have seen Louis hiding in the stables, and they would have been like, she's not just a big one of the biggest drug kingpins of LA. It would have been like, she's a cop killer, or something like that, and they would have wanted to search the place and everything like that. She might have been found. But it was a red herring to basically the foreshadowing of, the crack, like the person who's addicted lives at the end. And then you see that in the next episode with Franklin. Like, he's addicted and he lives.
I'm not seeing the connection. I mean, but
Franklin was addicted to money.
Yeah.
He became alcoholic.
Frank.
Addiction is addiction, whether whatever the affliction is.
I'm just saying, for all the shit that Buckley did, like that should he should have got murdered so we can move on.
And I'm like, a lot of people feel the same way about Franklin.
Yeah, well, I mean, true, but I like to one. If the spinoffs, if the spinoff happens, he needs to be dead first episode. Like, they go to his funeral. Like, he cannot be alive, or it's just Snowfall. Like, I mean, and I'm saying, like, I thought they would have. I wanted Wanda there. Anyway, I want to get to the comments. I'm sorry. Franklin Saints was the demise of the Saint family. Jerome and was actually right. Absolutely, DeMarcus. Absolutely. The first episode, you go back. We all go back to watch it. Jerome told him this is not worth the pain that this is going to.
Yeah, he did.
Do not bring this to our neighborhood. And Franklin said, "Fuck all that. We doing this." Like, and I mean, so Franklin deserves everything he got. Absolutely. Franklin Saint treated Sissy and Leon the same way Teddy was treating Franklin by saying, I made it all. And who are you? Then this is my money. True. But both of them felt the same way, that they were responsible for this operation. Both their egos really got involved. And was their demise, because both of them were trying to do something bigger than themselves. Both of them wanted to be remembered. They wanted to do something great. And this ended up all fucked up. Why didn't Franklin apply for state assistance? That's
he could have got some disability or something. Mental something.
Like,
why didn't he just get a job? What pisses me off the most is that, why is it that even drug dealers are still running around having interviews talking about their days of fame and shit? Like, what they did was noble, right? They ran, this is what we used to do. No, nigga, what you did was destroy the whole damn community. Okay, you're not someone that people should be looking up to, right? And in documentaries saying this is what happened. You look at how they dress and all that. No, we shouldn't be looking up to you. But none of them thought, after I got out of jail, or after, I got away with it, let me just get a regular job. None of them think like that.
Start a record label.
So basically, if you look at the end scene, the store that he gets his alcohol from is the same store he used to work in.
Yeah.
Right.
But
exactly.
he could apply. He could apply for a job. He could be a subject matter expert for this movie being shot in his neighborhood. Like, he could, there's things that he could, to your point, he could have just told the story. I mean, gangster rap is about to start soon. Like, I mean, there's things that be like, his shtick is pretty popular. You know what I'm saying? So like his story could have been something. There could have been rap songs made about him.
It showed a weak mind. That's what it showed. It showed that no matter how much money he made, his mind was still weak. That he couldn't recover from this. He could not recover.
I don't think it's a weak mind. Do
you think he's strong to now become an alcoholic and walk around?
All the fumes from cooking crack, just it just messed up.
It weared on him. Like, it just wear. Well, okay, Man Boy was right about family turning on Franklin, and Franklin betrayed Sissy, and Sissy turned her back on Franklin because of his obsession with money. Sissy did the only thing she could. She tried to save Franklin many times, and Franklin said, "Fuck her." I mean, when she said,
but she shouldn't have enabled him in the first place.
Oh yeah, Sissy's wrong. She is wrong. Yeah. Yep, you're right, Stacey.
And that's why she wanted to go to jail. Like, she atoned. I think her going to jail, that was her atoning for what she did. And that's why she was like, when you're ready to atone, Leon, you let me know. You know what I'm saying? And what you're gonna do about it when you're really ready. You know what I'm saying? But she wanted, because she felt responsible. Because Franklin, even to the end, blamed everybody else. His mama, his B, everything happened to him. And Franklin couldn't have sold the Spring Street property. He could have sold a Spring property, kept the hood black owned, and lived a decent life. He just couldn't accept defeat. But he honestly didn't deserve a happy ending anyway. I would agree with all that. His ego was too big.
All right, so to respond to that, I think it was the matter of, if you look at the wedding scene, the wedding episode from last season, when he was talking to himself and he was basically saying, look at all the people you've killed and look at all the stuff you've done and everything like that. I think he wanted it to all mean something, right? It was all about the end, like the ends justify the means. And if he had nothing, he couldn't justify all of the bad stuff he did. He couldn't live with himself knowing I did all of this and I have nothing to show for it. Like, I turned into the devil and there's nothing. I'm starting back at zero. Like he couldn't accept that.
Yeah, that's his ego.
He's a weak-minded person, because that's just a strong-minded person would have been like, I accept this defeat, but you know what? I'm gonna make it all over again. I'm gonna make it all over, or I'm gonna get a regular fucking job. I mean, it's ridiculous.
But I think when he came to the moment of acceptance, it was too late. But I'm gonna tell you when he got the moment of acceptance, right? It was that Breaking Bad crawl space moment where he just starts uncontrollably laughing, because after Miguel unlocked that safe and he said count it, right? And he told Miguel to count it instead of him counting it, because they wanted the audience to know exactly how much money that was. And that was the exact amount of money he got for selling that first amount of brick of cocaine, which was 12,000. And that's why he started laughing. He was like, I'm back to where I started at. Like, he was like, everything is gone. This is all I have is the same 12 that I started with.
Nice.
And that's when he was just like, all right, and that was the last time you saw him. The next time you saw him again was a year later, and Leon is knocking on the door. So he accepted it, and he was just like, all right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he was already gone, his mother was already gone.
But if he had a stronger mind, don't you think he could have taken that 12,000 and said, you know what? I'm gonna start this all over again. Right. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. He was just
he was gone.
Focused. It was gone. He was gone.
He was gone. Like he
that was beneath him at that point. Like you had $73 million to go back to $12,000, which was decent money back then.
Right.
But $73 million.
Yeah. Right.
I would have lost it too, honestly.
I mean, true, but like I said, but if he wasn't an alcohol at that point, he already was. If the alcohol wasn't already in him, he could have been like, but this is something to start with. I started with this. I can
do it again. Right.
If he was clear-headed and he felt like he had a plan, he could have. Sissy was not saying a word to Franklin, but was talking through her eyes. That was the most beautiful scene. That was the most, that right there deserves an award. Like she did everything but saying nothing.
But you heard everything. You heard everything she was saying.
And he was like, why the fuck would you do this to me? Like he went, like even him, like he was doing it to himself with her, but it was just him. Like he was like, why did you do this to me? Mama, I need you, you lousy bitch. Like all of that.
Give me the house. Like, nigga,
like, help me sell the house, mama. Help me. Like he was an addict. He was an addict, just like Melody.
That's what Melody, I needed. I need as she faced Franklin, scratch it.
When he was on the phone begging, he reminded me of Denzel Washington. Like his performer, like I was feeling like Denzel when he was just on the phone and crying. I was like, he is on it. Like you ain't getting shit for the show, but you should. Like this ain't getting nominated, but he should get an Emmy, like a couple of them.
Get something. He'll definitely get an NAACP.
Oh yes,
we always give those out, right?
We'll take care of them. But definitely Emmy. I mean Sterling K. Brown level. Like if you're looking at a black like Grammy Emmys. That's the dude, and I'm like he's up there, like he's up there, like he did it. He did it. Yeah. It was a great episode. He should had, but he was greedy. He was greedy. Also, people talk about time. I felt like they should have did with this show what they did with Sons of Anarchy, because those last 2 seasons, those episodes were like an hour and a half minimum. Like they gave like Kurt Sutter all the time he needed to tell his story, right? And I'm like, and I like it was again. There was so many characters to kind of wrap up. How did Teddy go? Was he just a man that got shot in the middle of LA? What did he
No,
get a
but they
superstar
said
Langley?
it was CIA. So I guess CIA claimed him. Well, he was always. They didn't. I don't know exactly his affiliation at the time of his death, but he was former CIA. So that's they. He was always connected. So that's how it came out in court.
That's what they called him.
Huh?
They called him a contractor.
That's what I'm saying. So like there's and then there's recognition. You know what I'm saying? Like he was doing this for something. Like did he get that star at Langley? Did Sissy ever get her story out? You remember what she said? Who's talking about when Leon, which doesn't make any sense. Leon was like, they're talking about you in the hood and you're a hero. And she's like, is anybody else talking about it? Nope. And she's like, fuck. Like, I wanted to get the story out and nobody gives a fuck. Also,
well, the way she delivered the story wasn't the most appropriate way. Screaming in a courtroom. No, ma'am.
But two storytelling. I mean, that was just the bail hearing, like her actual trial, right? Like there was testimony and stuff. Like we didn't see any of that. Did she take a?
But if she pled guilty,
she pled guilty.
She probably just
she didn't get. Yeah, when you plead,
she should have went to trial and then let it play out. Maybe.
Yeah, but she pled guilty, and so when you plead guilty, the judge sentences you.
Well, he said there's more processing to be done. Like there's going to be like a 2-year court proceeding. I just thought that would have been an opportunity. Like no reporters came to see her, but like I felt like she sacrificed all that and she still failed. Like she didn't get a story out. But that was kind of like that's the other part she wanted to do.
I think that when you say like the sins of the father, which was the title of the episode, and then it seems like they changed it to the struggle or so, like there was 2 episode titles I saw in different places, but as far as the sons of the father, right? That's basically Alton's story. Like if you said he was survived by a wife and son, okay, so you have Sissy who went on the whole Black Panther thing that he had, killed the CIA agent, and then you have like the bad part of him, which was the alcoholic, and that's Franklin. So you got basically, the inherited legacy or traits of Alton playing out in his survivors.
Yeah, but I'm saying, I mean, all right. I mean, he, like I said, he became his dad, ultimately, right? So that's what I'm saying.
So sins of a father, right? He did.
Yeah. So that is passed down. Franklin.
I want to go to. Let's go as far like this is the last episode. Conspiracy theory, right? When he sits down at the bar, the bartender says, "Looks like you had a bad day. This one's on the house," and he gives him the first drink. Could it have been the CIA? Could there have been something in the drink to make him?
No,
man. He just randomly walked into that fucking bar. Like,
I'm just saying. When they emphasized the first drink, and the first drink came for free, and it was given to him on the house. I'm just saying, that.
No, I'm sorry. I like where you're going with that, but no, it just because they were trying to show like he didn't want to do it, but he's like, oh shit, like it was such a moment because like again, we all watch episode 1 again. He was drinking cherry Coke when everybody was doing actual Coke, at the park. Even and Melody, why don't you drink? It makes me feel bad. Like it was like I'm turning into I'm doing the one thing I said I never would do, and it's just like everything else just kind of came out of it. I think
what are they gonna do to Tariq?
Huh?
Is that what they're going to do to Tariq?
That would be interesting. That actually would be interesting. If these were good writers, that's what they would do. Because on the
episode, what's her name? Offered him a drink. He was like,
nah. And that would be interesting. If in the end he becomes alcoholic just like his daddy, and then he started putting his hands on Effie or whatever. Fuck. Anyway, that's another show for another review.
No, Effie is out the picture right now. He's with Diana.
Hurricane's gonna become a thing.
We will save that review discussion for soon. For character arcs, but obviously Franklin had an amazing character arc. I want to say that that Wanda had the second best character arc, if not the best. I think Wanda had the best character arc throughout the story.
Yeah, she did.
Why she didn't get like a? Because even when Lee was talking about her, it was almost like they weren't even really together.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he basically said that.
No.
It was that
he just said marriage is hard, and she's trying to get into business. Yeah. But it was like he was not really saying it, but kind of saying it.
Yeah.
Like I expected him to be like, oh, she's pregnant, or we just had our baby, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like, we talk, but marriage
Okay,
is hard.
But because he's going back and forth, why? Why is he flying back to America all this time? Like, why is he not staying in Ghana? That was never really clear. Is he still trying to run the projects? Like, I'm
Well,
saying,
he I guess the legal fund, and he was funding the shelter, so maybe he comes back to check on it.
then she would have stayed. Her whole problem was, I'm not going to live in the projects. I can't be here.
She don't need to be there at all.
Yeah, where she needed to be in another whole continent. I mean, seriously, so that she does not have any temptation at all. And I'm glad that she was able to see that in herself, because most addicts don't. Most addicts think they can hang around with the same people and not become an addict again. It's like, no, get completely away from that. And you know what I mean? And she was able to see, no, I cannot be around this. It's too tempting. I think she had a great story. I think her story was great.
She did. I mean, she went from high school student to addict to robbing, beating up addict to recovering addict to wife to like community like supporter. Like that's a whole story arc. I mean,
and singer. She's singing now.
And now I guess that's part of the spinoff. Maybe they're trying to lay the seeds for the spinoff. But I thought,
at least she's not on the pole, so they're saying
that's also facts. But you still make a life. Hits P Valley. But I thought it would have been better if she was also there at the end, like seeing Franklin the way he is, because it was Franklin who told Leon, "Let that bitch go. She on the pipe. You can't fix that. Walk away from that." And for her to be like, "Look at what happened to Franklin," and does she say that? Does she say, "Let him go, baby," like he's gone, or does she try to say we need to try to help him? Like, what was her reaction? The kind of
I'm saying like that moment already came back when Melody was on, and Leon went back, basically spit the same words back and said, "You got to let her go." Like, there's no saving.
But
so,
at that point,
that already came back.
But Franklin was still standing tall. That's not the same thing. What Leon was just basically saying, just because your love is not better than my love. That was him to defend his own woman. But I'm saying for Wanda to look at Franklin and be like, "You're not gonna look down on me." You know what I'm saying? Because that's what was happening. You know what I'm saying? And be like, "Hey,"
I think that's something that would have to happen, like the spinoff, where like Franklin is like tied up or something, like how Wanda was tied up.
No, I mean, it could have happened in that moment. It don't have to be all that. I'm saying, but I mean, to Stacey's point, he needs to be dead if that spinoff happens, because we can't have him just running around the streets and popping up on episodes and shit. Like, just scratching. Like, that would just look ridiculous. Franklin.
Well, eventually he's gonna die. I mean, his liver is gonna be like, I can't take it anymore, and his kidneys.
Well, see, Kim. So even using Boys in the Hood as an example, when it ended, you saw Doughboy walk away, but then you saw the script, what happened to them. Like, that didn't work out. Like, that could have been like, Franklin was found X amount of days later, bam, Sissy got out in 10 years, she's doing this. Like, if this is the end, you give them their ending. Like, what happened to these characters, right? Or Leon finds him in that house dead. Like, they saw him.
That's what I'm saying, like the dead presidents. He should have been laid up in that chair.
Yes.
Eyes glazed over, foaming at the mouth, watching Matlock or some shit. I don't know.
I love that show. But what was
with Dead Presidents, if remember, didn't he die of a heroin overdose?
Yes, but you just switch it with either
alcohol
or whatever.
Poisoning,
but like the scene of him walking away from, like, Leon walking away from his friend, like that, you get that scene, but then he comes back 2 years later trying to save him, and it's too late. Like, he's gone. Like, I couldn't. I tried, but my friend was gone. And then they can cleanly move on to another show.
If I was in charge of the spinoff, I would probably do like the movie Gang Related, like wait until like a few seasons in, and then like Franklin is just a bum on the street and something happens, and then they try to blame it on the bum, and then all of a sudden they bring the bum in and it's Franklin Saint, and then you have a little storyline with him, and then he gets killed off at the end of the season, and then you have Resolute for the character, but this spinoff series has already been solidified in its own thing, so it's not a big deal to have Franklin Saint killed off, like, so to say, the first episode.
I feel like we're watching Picard at that point. Like all of a sudden, Captain Picard's back for one last ride. I was like, I hear you. Anyway, we don't know.
Gang Related was a very good movie. That was a really good movie.
Yeah. And we gotta see what the point of the spinoff is. Like if they really go with the whole Crips versus Bloods thing. So maybe Franklin is a part of that, or or whatever.
Is that cop? I don't think must have something to do with it as well.
Involved in the spinoff. I don't think so.
I hope not. I would say, yeah. I mean, like they could have, they could have knocked off his character. What happened to the plane? That's a good point. I mean, also,
sold the plane.
Drink that plane.
He drank it.
He could have been on the plane on the street trying to sell his plane. Yo, bro, you can buy my plane for $20. I'll suck your dick. I don't know, like this, like crazy. Like just all kinds of like how far. Also with the Spring Street. Since everything was that was his truth, right? Like he was
his Queen's Child Project.
Also,
that's it, Stacey. That's it.
He should have. His last moment would have been seeing that building being destroyed. That fucking like Davis.
No, he should have seen it built up, looking all nice and Gangs of London towers and shit. And he didn't have any interest.
Anything to do with it? I would like
that. Should have been me.
That should have been me. I want to see Davis say, this thing's being demolished and we're putting a strip mall. And he's like, fuck. Like that should have been me. But yeah, anyway, I wish Scully was in the series. What happened to Scully? Scully could have helped him out. Scully would have helped him out. They
ruined Scully, period. And they just ruined that character. I'm just so mad about Scully.
Franklin always
he's gonna be teaching yoga at the shelter or something.
Maybe. Franklin Saint's life wasn't any better before he started dealing drugs. That's why it sucks. So he lost it in the end. And honestly, he wasn't getting.
He had a girlfriend. He had a job. He had friends.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually pretty fun.
I mean, that was way better than what this is.
Yeah, bro. and the neighborhood was better. I mean, the neighbor has gone to shit because of him. And Leon, like they all contributed to this shit. And does Leon see that? I thought it's important for him to.
I think that Leon does see it, and this is why Leon can't let it go, because he realizes what he contributed the downfall to his area, right? But at the same time, he's in contrast with himself.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I think it's like if they were like twins or something, is they both can't let what they have already done go. Like their their level of responsibility in it.
Right.
Leon wants to fix it, and Franklin basically is like, I wanted to mean something, like, because it was all about him at the end of the day. So it was like, I need to have something to show for it, and he doesn't have anything to show for it. So he just, he can't. If he were to get a job and just live a 9 to 5, it wouldn't resolve all of the night terrors and stuff he was having before, because he knows that he did it and there was nothing to gain. It was just some bad stuff that happened.
Yeah. So Kim, you were saying.
Yeah, it's Leon. The thing is that Leon has a lot of guilt, and that's why he can't just let his neighborhood go. That's why he's like doing the whole legal thing now, right? And that's why he's like, I'll go ahead and keep up the shelter for you, Sissy, because he has a lot of guilt. But it's like the money he's using is dirty money. It is blood money. So you know what I'm saying? So that's the contrast. I want to help my community, breaking down my community by selling them these drugs, because had I not sold them these drugs, I probably wouldn't even need this shelter. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the contrast. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so confusing in his own mind, in our mind too, right? But it's because they both have a lot of, well, I wouldn't say Franklin has any guilt of what he did, because Franklin would, if somebody would have gave him 2 kilos of coke, he would have sold that in a heartbeat. Like,
well, no, I just
you know what I'm saying?
I'm saying like he's out of the drug game. He hasn't gone back to selling drugs, whereas Leon is still selling drugs to try to use the proceeds.
Is he doing that?
I don't know. We don't know that Leon is still selling drugs.
That's what I'm saying.
Leon is using the proceeds that he had from drugs, from selling drugs, to make the neighborhood better. Yes. But no, if he went to Ghana, somebody else is selling drugs for sure in his place. Yeah. I don't know if he's still the king of that, like that's his operation still in, because they didn't tell us. So we don't, it didn't sound like it to me.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's out of the game,
Yeah.
but he's still trying to make the neighborhood better.
Yeah.
With what he had.
Yeah.
So,
and oddly enough, I think his hair, if you will, kind of said like he's not that dude anymore. Like I think like he's trying, he's trying to be better.
Right.
Yeah. Like he's out of the life, but he's still trying to get back. But in the end, he's still blaming the white man. He's still blaming racism for these poor black men getting arrested. And I'm like, you made them drug dealers. Like they this is what you. So let's remember who caused this shit. And now you're just trying to make it better, right? Like he's trying to make up for it in that sense. And I was like, but he's still like Franklin. He still can't accept that. You kind of did this shit. Like you need to take the blame. You need to take some of the blame for what happened to the community. That's why I say when we see these interviews and these documentaries with these drug dealers, and even when like you on YouTube, you have like these, well, this dude in Harlem, he was the big. Stop doing that. Stop glamorizing it. The drug dealers need to say, yeah, this was what I was doing was wrong. Some of them say that, most of them don't. They feel like they're the man. Like Frank Lucas never once apologized for what he did. He was always like, yeah, man, I had almost $1 billion. It's like, nigga, please. Sad. Also, I was gonna count all the niggas. It was a lot of niggas. I was like, damn it. I was gonna pull out the paper, but I didn't feel like going back. I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna let it slide. Like he's already on the decline. To you remember of what he's trying to get out of it. Let's remember, all of this started because Franklin got kicked out of college. Because he couldn't pay his.
I'm still wondering about that whole dream.
That was a dream, so like we don't know.
That's what happened. Because if you connect that episode to what he was telling Melody, episode 1, right? Why are you working here? Why are you not at school like you used to be? Well, he acted like it was his choice. I didn't want to go to school. I wanted to work and learn what it's like to run a business. That's what he said. Truth was, he got kicked out of school. You know what I'm saying? And I said, so there was truth and there was fantasy in it. Like the whole thing about Teddy coming to try to recruit him and shit. Like in his mind, he was trying to meld those two worlds together. But I'm like, that's what happened. Because remember when it first started, he was like, America is good. These kids have to learn what it means to do the right thing. That's because he was still in school. But once he got kicked out, he was like, fuck all this. The system is against me. I gotta be out here and I gotta make money. And he could have been like, not to copy a show, but he could have been like Walter White. Walter White started selling meth because he was trying to set some money aside for his family. He had a specific amount of money that he was trying to get. And then the business just got too good to him. He said, fuck that. I just want to be a drug dealer.
And his ego got to him because people respected Walter and he loved that. Yeah. And
same thing happened to Franklin. Eventually he was like, I'm somebody, like I need money. And it's like, but they never got back to that, all because he couldn't have no school tuition. Like, I'm like, damn it. But it was a great.
You know what? And also too, a lot of drug dealers have college degrees. They actually went to college, a lot of them.
And it would have been awesome if Kim, even after all this destruction, he had a bachelor's. Like he actually did it. Like he remembered what got him started and all this shit, right? Like that would have been something.
That's why I'm saying his brain was weak because he was smart enough to develop a business, right? He had the brains to do it, but he just couldn't do it. His mind was too weak.
He got too caught up in himself, man. Like once he got that plane, he's like, I'm somebody now. I'm wearing suits and drinking Coca-Cola. He's like, I'm somebody now. And then I was like, then his girlfriend shot him and shit. It got weird, you know what I'm saying? Like he went a lot of twists and turns. But in the end, I can't keep a bitch. I was like, you can't keep a girl, right? I mean, one girl tried to shoot you, the other one you killed her father, and then you choked this girl out, Franklin. Like there's reasons why you can't keep a woman. Like you do some fucked up things, and you need to acknowledge that. You know what I'm saying?
When he put his hands around Veronique's neck, I was like, oh, she's out of there. I knew it. I was like, she is completely out of there. I was like, as soon as you do something like that, all I would have been thinking is, okay, as soon as I leave here, okay, I'm gonna get a couple of clothes. Let me get my plane ticket together. Okay, to the bank. Okay, one suitcase. I don't need a lot. Just my one suitcase. Bye. See ya. No phone call. No nothing. Peace out.
I was like, no hesitation. She was like, Mama was right. You have a play, and that's what you got. You got to bring back Mama. You got if we show mamas.
I felt like they should have brought Mama back. Like I felt like she should have had a phone call with her mother and say, "Mama, you were right," and then she just would have said, "Come on, come on, yeah, come on."
Because guess what? I got 20 million. Like I got that money, baby.
Exactly.
But
I think it wasn't her mother. Wasn't necessarily her mother. The purpose of the mother, because I'm like a lot of people were saying like she was like a waste of time, like the Parissas and stuff like that. But she had a purpose. She was there to aid in him trying to get the money back. And once she was no longer doing that, she was no longer in the season. From them being at the plane at the beginning of episode, was it 6? So it was like that was basically. That's all that her character was there to do.
But in the end, she did none of that. In the end, it was the hot oil that got Teddy to go, you know what? Here's the bank accounts. Like in the end, it was
Yes. And it was in her absence, but it was inspired by her.
Grandma burned herself. Mama was scared of the kitchen. So
I'm saying the story came from Cassandra, you know. So.
I just say I was like, so that could have been a phone call. I'm just saying, like they get tie that up better. I did love the character. It was a great show, but again, I'm sorry.
Oh, can I say the baby was a waste of time? Like it had no purpose.
Waste of time. Like I was like, she was supposed to be 6 months pregnant. Stop it. She was supposed to be 6 months pregnant at that point. I was like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
They gave her a pooch. They gave her a little pooch. I was like, I can't even see it with the damn on. Could you have, I just wish when he was choking her, or you could really see belly. You know what I mean? So
because that would have drove
I mean?
yes, because that would have drove it home. Not only are you choking out this woman, you could be killing your child, and he don't give no fucks.
Yeah, because your oxygen is the baby's oxygen.
It's the baby's oxygen. He didn't give. That's why she was like out. I was like, he had to go Ike Turner for her to go. You know what? It's time for me to do something different with my life.
When a woman becomes silent after you do some fucked up shit to a woman, and they say nothing, that means you need to leave them the fuck alone, because they're about to do some shit. Either they're gonna fuck you up, get someone to fuck you up, or they're leaving.
Right. Also, and DeMarcus, you bring up another good point. They never knew that Ruben killed Avi. That never came back. They never knew that Avi switched on them. Turned like in the end. But I'm like,
a lot of story that was left on the cutting room floor, right? We know that.
Well, I'm saying in real life,
they gave us what we really need.
But I'm saying to Teddy's very out of character, confession before I murdered that dude, shot him twice. Like Ruben, for some reason, gonna be like, I killed Avi, bitch. Like this something to be like, oh, okay, like they know. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's just stories. Like just be like, yeah. I mean, it's not gonna keep you up at night, but to be like, it happened.
Yeah. I want that. I want Ruben to get some sort of award or something. Like that was convincing as hell, because he knew that he was going to get the worst kind of treatment in the world. Being handed
KGB, of course he
and I'm
knows.
like, Franklin was so drunk that he didn't even gag him or tape his mouth or anything, and all of the Franklin, don't leave me, and that it was just like you could just see the anxiety and pain in his face.
So to where was Teddy's ex-wife and kid exactly? They had time. They could stretch it out a little bit more. But again, that's a great question. That's a good question. Did she ever do her public? Also, they never tied it to the real world events of the Iran-Contra hearing. That's how this thing really went down. That's how it ended. Because fucking Oliver North went in fucking Congress and was like, hey guys, we were selling drugs in America. It's a thing. And I'm like, none of that happened. Like they addressed the Iraq invasion, which is 1990. But like, talk about Oliver North. Like that's what ended this operation. And like I was kind of disappointed they didn't somehow tie that shit together, especially with Julia's threat of like public execution. I don't know what the fuck that even meant, but like that would have been something. I felt like the original characters of Snowfall would be sprinkled throughout the spinoff. If Louis comes back in a small level, like that would be interesting. What happened to her cousin? Like I thought she was going to get arrested in Arkansas, like trying to get to her family, and then they all get wrapped up. That's what I thought was going to happen.
She's not drug dealing anymore. It's so to seem.
Yeah, well,
she should be in Mexico or Puerto Rico. Not Puerto Rico.
A place with horses.
Anywhere.
Just I was like,
Other than here.
and then I thought Gustavo was about to get shot in the head when he was on the phone talking.
I thought something was gonna happen to him too.
I was like, oh shit.
I thought you know what I thought? I thought that they made that they caught the girlfriend with the kid, right? And that they made her make that phone call to get him to go to North Carolina so that they could arrest him.
Yes.
But they didn't show that. So
yes.
As far as we know, Oso is teaching young people how to wrestle.
Wrestle in Mexico for the rest of his life.
Exactly. Yes. So,
but you're right, Kim. I was like, this is such a happy ending. I'm like, oh,
yes.
he fucked. Like I was like, but no, he got his happy ending. Like I love this ending. Don't get me wrong. We always like to do rewrites. That's what we do. We always got some issues, but I love the ending. Again, as Kim said, this is up there, so with The Wire, with Breaking Bad, like how you end a show that you don't murder the entire cast. You give them decent endings and you wrap up the main characters. And then you get something like there could be more to the story, but not necessary. Like if they left it right here, you felt satisfied. They just
my revision for it, I had a revision, but it doesn't change anything that happens. Is they should have did it like Swarm. I would have liked to have had the juxtapose of the last two episodes. Like you had this episode be the penultimate episode and the 9th episode been the finale. And every time he referenced, like when he goes to like the payphone at the bar, he doesn't tell Veronique she shot Teddy and she just says something bad happened or whatever. And you don't know exactly what happened since he got free from Teddy in episode 8. And, you go through the whole episode and everything like that. And you're like, what happened there? And why is his mother not talking to him? And why is she in jail? You don't know why everything is happening. And then you go to the next episode and then you see everything happen. And then you skip, like 3 years ahead to when Leon knocks on the door and, you see Franklin at the end that way.
Let's go down this road. Let's do what they did in Swarm, which was the second to the last episode is the true story that this is based on. And then you see the real fucking Louis not in jail, past, like being prosecuted. She's saying, she just like Rick Ross, I ran this shit from the 80s. We did this, we did that, and I'm telling my story, like da 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 da. And then you kind of see that. So you'd be like that this was based on a true story, and it's Louis, not Franklin. And they could have did that. And that would have been interesting to be like it actually, it did happen. And this is what, and when someone got away and they're able to live to tell the tale.
I think what they did was they wanted to honor John. And so they didn't do it that way. They didn't do the whole, cultural thing. They just were like, let's just end it this way. And then the very ending is about John, right?
Yeah.
The boys in the hood. So I think maybe it was supposed to be that, maybe it was, right? But we don't know John's entire vision, right? Only his other executive producers know. But I felt like they probably just wanted to honor this man. So I think they did it.
I agree with you, Kim. I was saying, like, I just thought, I thought Jamani had a decent idea. This was another shit, like, not trying to honor him. Like, I thought that was an interesting idea.
I'm saying it would still be the same last scene. I'm just saying, like, before that would be switched, and you would have more excitement from that last episode because you would be like, I want to know what happened in that space of time leading up to it, and you would have watched it, and there would be excitement during the episode. Whereas this was just more somber and just like, okay, this is what happens, and this is what happens in real life, and it's just sad.
Just acknowledge that you love the last.
I want to know. I do want to know what happens with Louis. I was kind of shocked that her bosses protected her. They were kind of like, yeah, we don't know this person.
Yeah,
that was surprising. I was like, okay, so maybe she made a great impression on them, right? A good worker, maybe. But what happened to her after that, right? I would have wanted to. I hope that maybe they touched on that in the new one. Like, what happened to Louis? Did she go and turn herself in because she doesn't want to live this life of constantly? To me, I feel like you should be in like Spain somewhere. Like, why are you? It seemed like she was in America still, right?
Yes.
I'm like, why aren't you like with B somewhere, right?
Well, and that's what Stacey said. Like, why are you here? Like, you need to be not here because like they're looking for you. But you know what? They never show how crack went coast to coast. Like that's another
Yeah.
thing. Like this was a national problem.
But
Like
I think John wanted to, like, in all his movies, he concentrates on the neighborhood that he knows, right? Which is his LA neighborhood. And that's what he always has done with every movie that we've ever seen him do. So, yeah.
Or to acknowledge, again, to your point of spinoffs, like they have material to be like, again, crack was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Last thing, I wasn't expecting it, but I liked how they delivered this episode. Overall, I enjoyed the season and the series as a whole. The acting was incredible, as we see. It has everyone discussing it. Yeah, it amazing. Truly deserves nominations and not awards. Like, I definitely thought it deserves an Emmy at some level.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of them. I mean, Jerome's character, he deserves, the actor deserves it. Louis deserves something. Franklin, of course. They all, to me, they were all so good. But I would say the front runners are Damson and Amin, and I don't remember Sissy's real name, but I believe those three. And I would even throw Wanda in there.
Yeah,
I mean Louis at the end, but Wanda, I would put her up there too.
Yeah, just for art.
Good job, yeah.
Yeah, if it was like a series award or something, like this body of work,
yeah,
like that would be her. Like she went through a lot of depths and heights, and just to get where she was.
Yeah, she went through the whole roller coaster, and then she came out, but we don't really know, because like what Leon was saying, marriage is hard. She's singing now. But, you know, there was like an underlining thing there, right? Like what's really happening, you know?
But I mean, but maybe there's life outside of Leon. Like maybe the distance was too much, maybe the whole thing. But in the end, she's still standing tall, right? Because a lot of us thought she was gonna end up back on the pipe because Leon was gonna die and that kind of shit. And she was like, "Nah, I have a story without him. Like I was a person before him."
Yeah.
I don't think they said that she was singing. I just think they said she was in the music business though.
I mean, but what does that mean? I'm saying so we don't know. I mean,
we don't know. I'm just saying.
I think she's funding she's like funding the music, like a record label or something.
They didn't say that.
Yeah, they didn't say that.
We don't know. I just said singing. That's what I thought when you said
I'm saying, because I'm just saying that the spinoff, they said it was based on like gangsta rap. So I'm saying, like, I know that a lot of drug money and stuff went into the start of those labels. So I see that it would probably
shit. That sounds like BMF. At least the BMF we should be watching.
I'm saying, like, in the sense of like Death Row
Records with his 12,000.
What's up?
I could have started Saint Records with that 12,000.
Hilarious. Right. So he could have got old boy from the hood that was writing the song. They could have put this shit together and be like, "Oh damn it, we're gonna sing songs about what we used to do." Hilarious. Platinums, all kinds. Better than NWA. Hilarious. Anyway, guys. That is the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like. I
just wanted. We didn't get to talk about it last week. The whole. What do you guys think about Sissy almost killing Franklin?
I don't think that's true.
Almost doing what?
People were saying that when she kept the gun up and Franklin just happened to be in front of her and Teddy, that she almost shot him. I don't think that's
no. But I'm saying I heard it. Like I said, you got the video. It was the actual cast who brought it to. It was Leon and Jerome. They were on Instagram and they were actually talking about it. So it's like actually, you know, like from.
That she almost shot him.
She had the gun pointed on him and she was like thinking about doing it. And then she just, put the gun up instead and,
she should have shot him.
She was thinking about
his pinky toe or something.
Well, and that then she should have, because she should realize how far her son has gone. You know what I'm saying? That he was gone. And that probably would have saved,
But she said, I did what I could live with.
Yeah.
And I don't think she would have been able to live with killing Franklin.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a couple of years for P Valley. So it's there's as Kim said, they're working on the script. So I think the producer said it.
They're working on the script and they're working on the whole court case and all of that is going on. But I mean, she has updates on her Instagram and stuff, and you see that she's working on it, but we don't know when it's coming out. It could be 2025.
I heard Gail Bean last week do an interview. She said that they're filming it this summer, and then it would be out.
Oh, cool. Well, that's good then.
And she also said that she didn't become an actual cast member until the pandemic, when they were starting to film season 4, and she, basically got off of crack when she got shot. So that's when she actually became an official cast member.
Oh, okay, cool.
So she has options. She has options.
Yeah.
If-
Job still.
Lightning 66 said if Franklin lived an honest 9-to-5 life, his life would have still been miserable. So he was doomed to fail from day one.
He started a business and been fine.
Yeah, I disagree. Like his original track was college and trying to be someone professional. It just went off the rails and he stayed off. You know, Reasonable Doubt is yes, Dominique, we know Reasonable Doubt's coming back for season 2. Damn it. But we
You're still making a decision about that, David? Are you?
No, I know we got it. I gotta. It's a train wreck, but I gotta be a part of it. I gotta be a part of it. We're gonna.
Okay, Stacey, get ready, girl.
We're gonna ride this one out. We're gonna ride this one out because I gotta see the next threesome. It's gonna happen. I gotta be like it's gonna be just some randomness, maybe some chicken.
It's gonna be Beyonce songs this time.
It's like I said, it's gonna be either Dr. Dre or Tupac. But that husband's gonna get those fingers right. Anyway. Let's get to the silly shit. Let's get the power and go.
I'm resetting computer just to let you know.
Thank you, because I was like, I see you shimmering. But we will still love you though.